When I first moved to Los Angeles, I came here cold. I didn't know anybody. And I moved to the Valley. It was like late 90s. And I got myself a one-bedroom apartment. You could still do that back then. Could still afford it. And I didn't know anybody. I didn't know where I was going to start. So I just drove around the city. I mean, it was a much different city, but it was still amazing. And I just drove from corner to corner. And my favorite thing to do was to look for movie sets. The ones that were current, and then the ones that where I had grown up watching them on television, tried to find things. And I heard that there was a MASH set somewhere in the north, that there was even a Jeep sitting out somewhere, and I'm like, I'm gonna go find this thing. And this was the days before GPS and Google, so I just had to drive. I had my Thomas guide. And I did not find it. By the way, it's off Mulholland Drive. I never did find it. But I ended up on Canaan Dune, and I don't know if you've been out there. It's really windy, and cliff on one side and a ravine on the other. And it was getting a little late, and I was going a little fast, and I lost control of the car, and I went over the edge of one of the cliffs. And it's funny because I don't even remember I remember being outside the car looking at it, like from the third person. It was the craziest thing, like floating above it. I don't remember hitting the ground, but because the next thing I remember was waking up at the bottom of this ravine. Like I couldn't see anything, it was dark, it was like foliage all around me. I had this old Honda Civic and it was kind of crumpled, and my legs hurt like hell and my head hurt, and I couldn't see and I couldn't really get out of the car. And I guess I was going in and out of consciousness because the next thing I remember, it was daylight. And I had like the worst cotton mouth. I was like, I'm never gonna survive this. And I was getting really upset at myself. Like, fuck, why didn't I just be more careful? I was getting mad, I was going through all the emotions. And then I started looking around like, okay, how am I gonna survive? I can't really get out of the car, I'm kind of squished in here. And I started seeing an empty bottle of water, and then I saw another half full of bottle of water and like a half-eaten chocolate bar. And then I saw like an old In-N-Out burger, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be okay. There was like 2 liters of water laying around the car, and I had this Costco-sized thing of mixed nuts. I'm like, all right, that's done. I could live forever out here. But I'm still like stuck in the car, and I can't get out. And there was no cell phones. I mean, in the late 90s, it was still option, and I had chosen the option of no. And nobody knew I was out there. I was like really starting to get worried. I rolled the window down, and I had like a road rage incident not long before that, and so I had bought one of those, not a rape whistle, but like a horn, like a referee horn, and I was like, the next time someone fucks with me, I'm just gonna boop, toot them in the face, and then just take off. You know what I mean? So I had this thing, but it was like, a little canister, I was like unlimited supply, but and I didn't want to just honk, so I was like, and I didn't hear anything. I'm like, fuck, okay. I didn't know how far down I was, I didn't know where I was, but I just like, this is my new life, right? I'm gonna have to just get through this. But you're in survival mode, right? Some of it you don't really comprehend what you're going through, and some of it you're trying to just make it through the minute, make it through the next minute. And I started looking around the thing again, and I found like a piece of paper and a notebook, and I started, I was writing notes to the people that I loved and saying like, I'm gonna be okay, or this is what happened to me, like find my log, you know what I mean? Like when they find the ship. Made it to the next night, and I did not sleep at all. I mean, sore does not begin to describe. If I flexed my legs, they hurt. I don't know, I didn't see any bones sticking out, but it was like I was in so much pain. I damaged something. And I just remember hearing animals move around the car. I was in the car, so I was protected, but I just remember like, there are big things out there moving around, and I can't stop them if they want to come in, because the window was cracked and all this stuff. The next morning, I thought I heard a hello. And I got my fucking rape whistle out. I'm like, boop, 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 boop. And it's like, nothing. And then I heard like, did I hear a hello again? And I was like, dan, 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 dan. Like, it's me, it's a human out down here. And then I heard nothing. Having no hope is one thing, but like having hope and then losing it is the worst thing. I don't hope anyone ever goes through that, because I heard nothing. And it was hours, it seemed like, go by. And then all of a sudden I heard a helicopter overhead, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't really get my head out, and then it was gone. And it was the same thing. Like, I had hope, and then they missed me. Like, I was on the island, and they went over, and they didn't see my help fire sign. But 20 minutes later, I heard the sweetest sound I'll ever hear, which was a chainsaw cutting through the brush. They had found me. The guy was riding his Ducati motorcycle, and he had wiped out right at the same spot as me. And he had seen the tracks, and he had looked down and seen my car, and he had heard, and he'd called the police, and that just took him a delay to get there. I don't remember anything. It's like, when you have to go to the bathroom, you're like getting within a certain diameter of the toilet, and you're like, it's happening. It was like, it's all over. I'm just so happy. I'm letting it out. I was crying. I was so happy. They do have video of me in the bucket, them pulling me up, and I got this big old smile on my face, because I do remember it, because I'm about to get drugs. I knew that I was going to get some good stuff. The craziest thing was that when they pulled me out, they found another car not 10 feet from my car. It was another gentleman. He was dead. He had been there for 15 years. It was a missing case. He had gone over the same corner. It's a treacherous corner. I don't know. I haven't been back there for years. I don't know if they fixed it. And he had gone over, but he was from Manhattan Beach, and they didn't know where he had gone. He wasn't supposed to be up there, same as me. And they had been able to close the case. They didn't know why he's up there, but they were finally able to find their loved one and put him to rest. But I'll leave you with this parting word. Do not clean your car out, because it just might save your life. Thank you very much.